Here goes nothing. I think that's probably not going to go. You can see that we are now at stage number 7, which means we're all good and we are all charged up. Now that is what you call a fire up. What do I do? Do I get on with what I should be doing, or do I have a very quick play? I'm going to wind up having a very quick play. Position. Oops, my brake still reckons it's on. I just had to get back out in this car. I couldn't, it's killed me the last couple of months. It's sitting in the garage doing nothing. Yeah, I had to get out in it. I had to just take it for a spin and have a little bit of joy in it, I'm afraid. The plan for today is to fit the new seats, and I will show you in a little while why the original seats are so painfully original. But like I say, I've missed driving this so much. Whoops, that's a bit of a clutch slip there. I've missed driving this so much that I had to get out in it. Yeah, biting point on VEP is a little bit high at the moment. It's something I might see if I can adjust out. The other thing you got to bear in mind is I'm used to driving a automatic car, so driving VEP really does require all of my brain power, oops, to be active again. I've forgotten I'd left oil in the bottom there. It's just, oh, it's such a giggle. It feels so alive. It feels so alive. That's what I love about this. It just feels so absolutely alive. Let's see if I can put my window up slightly. There we go, slightly less wind noise. I always do like to drive with the window open ever so slightly. Cars like this, they're just, yeah, I mean, this feels like a living being compared to the V70, and I'm very fond of the V70, as I think you all know, but this is just something else. It's like, what speed bump? Over these really, really big, heavy speed bumps going down this road, and they're not even there. So anyway, whilst I'm out in VEP and having a bit of a drive and enjoying myself, I thought this is probably a good opportunity to explain to you, as I've been alluding to for a little while, why is it I've bought this? What made me buy VEP in the first place? You know, is it some cynical attempt to try and get my YouTube numbers up by buying a previously, in quotation marks, famous car, or as somebody described it to me, BX royalty? Well, no, not at all. Just sort that oil out because I don't really want that sloshing around everywhere. So basically the reason I've bought VEP is because the BX, and particularly a 16 TRS, is where cars started for me. It's where it began. I have a vague memory of going to a car dealership with my mum, dad and my sister somewhere in Birmingham, and going in looking at 2 cars at the time. And it's about my earliest motoring memory. One was a Golf GTI and the other one was a BX16 TRS, an A-Reg one. And the other thing I can remember about it is the fact that it was sitting on a flat tyre, so my memory is reasonably accurate. And yeah, from that moment onwards, I remember sitting in it and seeing, you know, the crazy spaceship dashboard, and that was it. And I became completely and totally obsessed with them, you know, to the point where people in the school playground would shout Citroen BX at me, because that's pretty much all I talked about at one point, and to be fair, in some respects still do now. So yeah, they became a total obsession. I read the Haynes manual that my dad had got for his BX from cover to cover obsessively, and then the best thing that could possibly happen to a young Citroen enthusiast happened, which was my dad went from working at the Prudential to working at Bristol Street, Nottingham, in Bristol Street Citroen in Nottingham, and that meant we had a brand new Citroen home nearly every day. We had XMs and AXs and BXs and all sorts. So that's kind of where it all started for me. I will do a more detailed video about that, because I do remember, it's funny, having watched Kitch's goodbye video about VEP, I have a very curious parallel with how I felt when the TRS was taken away, because at the time Dad was working for Bristol Street Citroen and there was just no need to have the TRS there anymore. It was just sat on the drive, costing him money on tax and insurance, so he sent it away, which at the time I remember being absolutely devastated over. So yeah, I've always wanted one. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would have loved a 16 valve as well, but this is a more personal connection for me for motoring than the 16 valve is, even though arguably the 16 valve is a better car. I mean, and it certainly is a better car. And so are Mark II BXs. When I spoke to Kitch about buying this originally, he did say to me, look, you know, you do know that there are much cheaper and better ways to get into a BX than buying this Mark I TRS. And that's fair enough. But yeah, for me, it's just it's a more personal connection. And that's, like I say, why it's killed me. It's sitting there in the garage for the last couple of months, going nowhere, doing nothing. You know, I needed to get out in it. I needed to drive it. And I can't wait to start taking it to shows. Obviously the next big show is Rustival that this is planned for, and I do have quite a few bits that I need to do ahead of that. But yeah, I had to get out and have a play. Had to get out and have a play. Anyway, I'm actually going to shut up now because I want to record just some straightforward driving footage with no commentary, and then I might pipe up a little bit later on. Now, I've talked about wanting to put power steering in this, and I'm really torn because it is horrible when you go into a roundabout and everything weighs up. But at these sorts of speeds on these kind of roads, the steering's almost telepathic. It's just beautiful. So, I don't know, it's a tough one, that is. I haven't actually checked if they salted these roads, which is a bit silly of me, but never mind. I think they hadn't salted any roads local to me for a good 10 days, which is the other reason I was happy to bring VEP out today. But there's always a chance, unfortunately. At least it's a dry day, crucially. Steady now. Oh, it's just a lot of muck on the road. It's just oh, the handling is just oh, they really don't make cars like this anymore. They just don't. It was almost touchless through that set of bends. Oh yeah, I used to have I've had two Citroen ZXs, and I had a ZX Volcane, and I forgot how nice that was to drive as well, to be honest with you, and this very much reminds me of that. This car definitely comes out of that period of, I mean, they joked about it on Top Gear, the chef de suspension, but that period of time where somebody was working for PSA who really understood how to make a car handle and feel good. And you see that all the way through the product range of those vehicles back at that time. Even a Bogo spec 1.4 litre Citroen ZX was an absolute joy to drive, whereas now everything's bloody awful. You know what I mean? This is just, oh, this is just lovely. Especially on this sort of road. It's not really at home on dual carriageways and things like that, but this kind of twisty, windy, load it up, roll it in, loads of grip, and it just, yeah, I mean, I'm catching stuff. I'm catching the more modern stuff ahead of me. Absolutely no bother at all. It's just joyous. I mean, I'd far sooner be in something like this than a bloody Nissan Squish Squash. In fact, it's worse. I'm in a convoy of Squish Squashes at the moment. That's my word for Qashqai, by the way. Or I think, what do they call them on the motoring podcast? Is it Cash Cows? Nissan Cash Cows? Yeah. I occasionally have to drive one of those, or did have to drive one of those for work. And honestly, they are the most god-awful piece of engineering I've ever had my misfortune to come across. Yes, I'm not keen on those at all, to be honest with you. Yeah, this is just... Yeah, this was the right thing. I needed to get out in this car because all it's done is sit in my garage since I bought it, really. I took it out for one drive. I didn't even take it on a scenic run like this. I literally tootled to go outdoors in it and then put it away. I had every intention of taking it to Anglesey and didn't. And I really regret that. Because yeah, this is just, it's so nice, and although it's different than I expected, and in some ways it's worse than I expected, in other manners it's better. The handling is far better than I thought it would be, to be honest with you. The refinement is interesting, but yeah, I could do something about that potentially, hopefully without adding too much weight. But yeah, honestly, it's just... Yeah, I love driving it. Oh, rear end's coming up. It's because we're on a hill. So all the height correctors and stuff are definitely doing what they need to do. Yeah, I just wanted to get out in it and just actually experience it, because this is what having a car like this should be about. And I'm a bugger for sitting back and preening stuff, you know what I mean? Polishing it, making it nice, fitting nice stuff to it, worrying about all the little screws and fixings. Well, yeah, that's great, but this is more important. This is what these things were designed for. And more importantly, I know that if I don't drive this, it's just not going to do it any good. You know what I mean? If it just sits around. I've already got a leak on one of the hydraulic returns, which, you know, I suspect is because all I've really done with this since I've had it is play about with it in the garage, putting it up and down and running it for short intervals. And to be honest with you, this is the other reason I wanted to take it out, because I've started and stopped it so many times over the last couple of months without actually running it properly that I was starting to worry that the exhaust was probably full of water. Carb cars do seem to put out a lot of moisture when you very first start them. I think there might be a tractor ahead actually looking at this mud. Oh, it's rough here. Eek. I have got the tyres ever so slightly overpressurised in this at the moment as well, just to try and stop them from flat spotting, but I think I am probably going to change, well, I've got to change at least one of them. Chances are I'll change all four, to be honest with you. Kitsch fitted slightly oversized tyres. These are 175/65 14s. I'm probably going to go back to the stock size, which I think is 165/70 R14s. It's not a huge difference, but I think it might just crisp the steering up a little bit and make it a little bit easier to steer going into roundabouts and stuff, because I think the extra sidewall might be what I'm picking up on in terms of the weight that gets added. I think it loads up the sidewall and then whoop, and away you go. So I think, wee, that's a good bump. Didn't even feel that. Nearly goes all the way to the end of the travel in the V70. So yes, I think that's one thing I probably will do, is put this on the correct size tyres, or the standard size tyres. I think Kitsch said he either had a deal on them or he had them knocking around. They're actually 10 years old as well, these tyres are. They don't look it, but that's way past what I would normally do for a set of tyres. So I am going to change these, and I'll be going to Sunset Tyres in Derby for that. Give them a shout out. They're the people that have always sorted me out with tyres over the years. But I do need to have a quick chat with them about where we jack this up, just to make sure that we don't get it wrong. I think I might just put my lights on as well, actually. Oh, look. Somebody in a much more modern car is about to spoil my fun. Theme of the day. It's hard to believe that that Citroen C4 and this came from the same manufacturer. I'm kind of reluctant to say this, but, and it's probably a video I will do, but I was a Citroen fanatic, and I mean fanatic, for a very long time. I'm really not anymore, and in some respects that actually makes me a little sad, because they were, for me, the brand I absolutely loved, that I would die on a hill for. Whereas now, I just don't find anything that they make all that compelling or interesting. Now, I understand why that's happened, because at the end of the day, it's the reason this car happened, it's the reason the BX happened. Citroen needed to start making more mass market cars in order to survive. And the BX is, in many respects, the beginning of that happening, the beginning of a more conventional, homogenised, more sensible approach to the engineering of cars. Now, I love the BX because it's still, for me, it's this and the Xantia are the perfect blend for me of their idiosyncrasies and the need for mass market appeal. But unfortunately, as time went on and they continued to chase sales figures more and more and more, the cars got more and more conventional. And yeah, it pains me a little bit sometimes when I look at something with a Citroen badge, because it just doesn't feel like a Citroen to me. This is a Citroen. And I know there's lots of people that say that, and you get that, I get that in the Volvo circles, you know, anything that was made when Ford were involved with Volvo's not a proper Volvo, and all that bollocks. And I don't like to subscribe to that sort of thinking, to be honest with you, but there is an element of, certainly with Citroen, I think, where, yeah, they've definitely lost a little something. They've lost, for me, they've lost what made them quintessentially Citroen. And I find that quite sad in many ways and difficult to deal with. The last Citroen I went and took a look at was a DS3, and it didn't move me in any way, shape or form. It was completely and totally uninteresting, and I walked away from it, didn't bother. At the time I think I had my Volvo C30 at the time, and I thought, well, you know, I am a motoring enthusiast, I loved Citroen, really I should go and take another look at Citroen. I just felt at the end of it like I may as well have not bothered. It just wasn't worth looking at. It was in no way interesting. And like I say, that kind of makes me sad, because this car ignited my imagination as a child, and I can't help but think that while Citroen may survive in a mass market sense, are they going to survive in an enthusiast sense if all they produce going forwards is relatively normal cars? I don't know. Maybe that's a matter for discussion. I don't want to, you know, I'm not knocking modern Citroen cars. In fact, in many ways, modern Citroen cars are much better than what they used to make. Don't get me wrong, you know, but I'm in absolutely no way, oh bloody hell, there's some big holes here. I'm in no way knocking a modern Citroen in terms of build quality, safety, reliability, although, you know, that provided you don't have anything with that stupid wet belt engine. But yes, you know, is this really, oh god, these roads are much filthier than I thought they were going to be. Oh no, I'm getting muck on VEP. This is going to turn into a "and now I'm washing VEP" video. Oh well, should have known better than come this way, really. Ooh, big holes here. Okay. Big holes. So yeah, like I say, while I'm reluctant to sound like I'm on a bit of a downer about this car, not about this car, sorry, about Citroen, they just don't have what drew me to the brand before, and I think that's a bit of a shame, really. Yes, I definitely feel like I'm starting to get the groove with this car now. Initially found it a bit uncomfortable, took me a while to get the seating position right. Irony of ironies, the seats in this are about to come out, so I then might be all over the place again with that. These have got some rocking backwards and forwards adjustments. That was a big hole, which I'm going to lose with the new seats, which might prove to be a minor problem, but we'll have to see. Please turn left, 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 you're turning right. Oh, he is turning left. Okay, that's not what I expected. How bizarre. Right. Oh, great, look. You get the road ahead of you clear, and then somebody in an SUV comes and ruins it for you. Come on, I want to enjoy this road. You gain on everything without even trying, honestly. Gaining on absolutely everything, and I'm literally doing nothing. Just in fourth, just rolling along. Oh, if that ant had been ahead of me then, if the ant had pulled out, I would have a clear run on this. Oh, hang on a minute, they're turning off. They're turning off. Might yet have chance to have a bit of fun. Not too much fun though, because there's a lot of mud on the road by the looks of things. Whee! With a little bit of drift to deal with. Don't go too crazy. It's just, honestly, if you've never driven one, drive one. Just go and drive one. Or any, to be honest with you, any PSA car of this era, just go and drive one. Whether it's a 309 or a 205 or a 405, whatever, just go and drive one, and then you will realise what we've lost. Honestly, you will realise instantly what we have lost in Peugeot and Citroen in terms of ride and handling. You know, refinement, sure, that might be better, but ride and handling, no. This is just, yeah. And handling's not quantifiable either. Handling is something that is almost intangible, I think. It's about feel. And you might get in one of these and think, oh, bloody hell, that's awful. I love the way these feel. This has gone very wrong. You know, I was supposed to be fitting the seats today, maybe changing the oil. It's gone very wrong. Today's gone very wrong. Instead, I've got in the car and taken it for a drive. Probably on roads that aren't clean enough, which might come back to haunt me later. I don't know, we'll see. None of them are particularly wet though, so. There's a light bar on that Polo, it's quite something. But yeah, particularly on like 50, 60 mile an hour roads like this, it's a pleasure. It really is. I could cross the entire country quite happily in this. And it's, you know, yeah, it rolls. You use the roll. You work with the roll. The roll can be your friend. The roll doth not need to be your enemy. You know, it's, yeah. I think there is actually still a lot of salt on the roads. Looking at the middle of the road up here. Eek. Oh well. Was it back home? I might be giving the underside of this a jet wash when I get back. It could be mud though. Let's have a look when I get back. See how things look. Might be a little bit greasy there, looking at that. Oh, a bit of mud there, steady. This, by the way, is my evaluation route. It's where I tend to take all cars after I've bought them, just to get an idea and a feel for how they handle and how they brake. I do usually do this, if I'm honest, early hours of the morning. I don't tend to do it during the day. is salt or if that's slate. It looks like it's the same stuff that's coming off everybody's driveways. I need to sort it out in any event. Right, this is the bend that always catches me out. No problem at all in this. You can just get an absolutely lovely flow on. Whoa, big holes, big holes. Big holes around here. Yes, the winter has not been kind to Derbyshire's roads this year. So yeah, I think we'll call that a VEP prep fail today because I just went out for a drive instead. But I really enjoyed it and now I'm all the more eager to crack on and get the bits that I needed to get done sorted out. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this random video. Please do consider liking and subscribing before you go. And I'll see you in another one. Cheerio!